Good morning students, this is your geography lesson. Students, as you know that we are reading unit 1, the natural topography including drainage. And in this regard we have discussed about the northern mountains and northwestern mountains, the western mountains and tectonic plates as well. What is plate tectonic theory and how earthquakes are caused. In today's lesson, we will read about the Balochistan plateau. So we start our lesson. Students, you know very well that Balochistan is one of the provinces of Pakistan. And Balochistan plateau east of the Suleiman and Keelthar ranges lies the Balochistan plateau with an average altitude of 2000 feet 610 meter. The physical features of the plateau are very varied, but mountains, plateaus and basins predominate the scene. The mountains spread in various directions, attaining height 6,000 to 11,000 feet. In the north are the Toba Kaka Range and Shagai Hills, which form the border of Pakistan with Afghanistan for some distance. In the west central part is the Sahan range and in the east southern corner the Makran range. What is plateau? A plateau is a flat, elevated landform that rises sharply above the surrounding area on at least one side. A plateau is a flat, elevated landform that rises sharply above the surrounding area on at least one side. Plateaus occur on every continent and take up a third of the Earth's land. They are one of the four major landforms along with mountains, plains and hills. Now we will read page number 13 and 14 to know more about the Balochistan plateau. Let's start reading. The Balochistan plateau is located in the southwest of Pakistan with altitudes mainly ranging from 600 to 3010 meters. So the altitude of Balochistan plateau is from 600 to 3010 meters. A. Basins of northern Balochistan. The Balochistan plateau has a number of irregular depressions such as the Zob and Loralai basins, which are situated between the Toba Kaka ranges and the Suleiman range. Depression. In geology, a depression is a landform sunken or depressed below the surrounding area. Depressions form by various mechanisms. So, two important basins of Balochistan are Loralai Basin and Quetta. And Quetta Valley is surrounded by mountain ranges. As it rains infrequently, when it does rain, the rivers form narrow channels, and as they reach the foothills of the mountains, they deposit gravel. Gravel, a loose aggregation of small water worn or pounded stones. And boulders. Boulders, a large rock, typically one that has been worn smooth by erosion. In addition to sand and silt. The deposition of material brought by the river channels form alluvial sands on the pediment plains. Pediment and alluvial. Alluvial made up of sand and earth left by rivers, floods, etc. And pediment, a gentle slope leading from the foot of mountains to a region of flat land. So, the basins of northern Balochistan. There are two important alluvial basins of Balochistan, namely the Loralai Basin and Quetta Basin, which together produce a major portion of Balochistan's crops and fruits, as we can say wheat, barley, maize, potato, apple, apricot, peach, almond, grape, and pomegranate. B. Basins of Western Balochistan. There are a number of basins between mountain ranges such as the Shagai Hills, Rasko, Sahan, and Central Makran. This area is almost totally devoid of vegetation. Entirely lacking or free from, devoid of vegetation, and there is very little rainfall even winter. So there is shortage of rainfall and this area is not suitable for agriculture. These basins have no outlet to the sea. Therefore, when rain, which is infrequent, does fall, it drains into temporary rivers and streams which flow into the basins and either soak into the ground or gather in temporary lakes. These basins are therefore known as inland drainage basins. The temporary lakes are called hamens. Hamens refer to seasonal desert lakes or marshlands. The temporary lakes are called hamens in the local language. They are salt lakes, and when their water is evaporated away, a salty crust is left behind. It is then called a salt pan. Salt pan. The largest of these temporary lakes is called the Hamini Mashkil. Hamini Mashkil, which is located in the western part of the Haran Desert. So students, the largest desert is found in western Balochistan. This is an area of inland drainage and dry lakes. Hamens, the largest of which is Hamin Mashkil, which is 54 miles long and 22 miles wide. The surface is littered with sun-cracked clay, oxidized pebbles, salty marshes, and crescent-shaped moving sand dunes. So these are the features of basins of western Balochistan. C. Mountain ranges. The Balochistan Plateau's landscape is covered with a number of barren mountain ranges with an altitude of between 600 to 3010 meters. So the altitude of these mountain ranges is between 600 to 3010 meters, and the mountains are barren, totally barren. These barren ranges are highly mineralized, especially the Shagai Hills, including copper, gold, and sulfur deposits. Many are in the process of exploration. So students, if the mountain ranges are barren and not useful for cultivation, Still, these mountain ranges are filled with natural sources and minerals as well. And the famous and most available minerals are copper, gold, and sulfur. D. The coastal areas. The coastal areas of the Balochistan plateau can be divided into eastern and western parts. So there are two parts of Balochistan plateau, eastern and western parts. The eastern part comprises the Lasbela plain. Eastern part comprises the Lasbela plain, which is marked by gravel and sand dunes. This is filled with gravel and sand dunes. The western part is known as the Makran Coast. Okay, the western first is eastern, that is special for Lasbela plains, and the other western side is special or known as Makran Coast, where the Makran Coast range projects into the sea and forms a narrow coastal plain. The important rivers are the Hab, Prali, Hengol, and Dasht, which flow into the Arabian Sea. So there are important rivers in the coastal areas, and these are Hab, Parali, Hengol, and Dasht. So, what have we learned from Balochistan Plateau? If we discuss about the relief, it has ridges and eroded landscape. It has barren mountain ranges including Tuba, Kakar, Hala, Rasko, and Makran coast from 600 meters to 3010 meters. There are several irregular depressions including Lorelei and Zob basins. On the western side, there are inland drainage basins. There is a Lasbela plain that is marked by sand dunes and gravel. It has Makran coast, which a narrow coastal plain. And what about the drainage? The drainages include Hengol, Dasht, Hab, and Paroli. So this is your lesson for today. Thank you for listening. Take care. Allah Hafiz.